During this presentation, we will delve into two companies in the forestry and paper sector and compare and analyse them. The first of these is the Irish company Smurfit Kappa Group. Based in Dublin, they produce a large range of mainly paper-based packaging for the safe delivery of products. Based in rural Cleveland, Ohio, Troy Mill are much smaller than Smurfit Kappa and mainly provide pallets and a collection of hard and softwoods. As they are a much smaller business, they completely focus on the perfection of their products, all while using lumber harvested from a sustainable forest. There is many CSR issues surrounding the forestry and paper industry, mainly surrounding the continuing deforestation present around the world. With this deforestation comes the destruction of habitats and also the prevention of future habitats, as temporary roads stop the growth of trees. Smurfit Kappa in particular, due to their sheer size and scale, have to pay more attention to CSR issues as their influence can affect the sector greatly.
In 2000, the United Nations Global Impact was founded. This involved signatories from over 190 countries collectivizing and creating sustainable development initiatives structured around fundamental human rights in order to create a more sustainable global business policy. Although it is non-binding, it still has considerable business impact and has been seen a positive mechanism to ensure compliance to achieve its universal goals. There are 10 principles of the UN Global Compact, and its standards are derived from the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the International Labour Organization's Declaration on Fundamental Principles and Rights of Work, etc. Both firms we are looking at work with a set of constraints unique to a subset of firms in this industry, as they are dealing directly with raw materials. Certain types of machinery and raiding of natural resources are unavoidable in this field. We will look at steps that are taken to reduce any negative environmental or unsustainable practices. Troy Mill are not publicly traded and do not have an IPO, therefore there is not as substantial of an information pool available in all facets of their reporting, including their CSR reporting. Troy Mill Wood sent their letter of commitment to the UN Secretary General on the 22nd of October 2019 and made their declaration of promise to the principles. Their main introduction to the principles came in way of a new policy of transparency and a commitment to report annually on the company's progress according to the UN Global Compact Code. This will be inclusive of the following documents. One, a signed letter from the CEO expressing their continued support of the initiative and renewing their ongoing commitment to the same. Two, a detailed description of the practical applications taken by the company for such implementation. And three, measures and outcomes of these results. Troy Mill have three main aims and initiatives that they try to centre their production and manufacturing processes around. Every piece of lumber is reported to come from a sustainable forest. Chain of custody is strictly adhered to, meaning you know where every piece of material comes from. Every piece of wood, fibre handled is reported to be used for something, meaning nothing is wasted in their processes. When we compare Smurfit Kappa to this, we see a lot more extensive coverage in their CSR front. Sections in the annual report are dedicated to the topic and their approaches to CSR. Their focused approach to CSR has seen them take action on every single one of the 17 SDGs, and Smurfit Kappa incorporate these SDGs into three main pillars. The first pillar is for people. This focuses on empowering people and communities. It emphasizes people's values and personal health, and it takes a people-first approach, with people being the forefront of the organization in areas such as diversity and culture. The second pillar is planet. This promotes a circular economy, which Smurfit Kappa notes as a core element of the running of their business. This is where they reuse and recycle material to help create other items in their product portfolio. The third pillar is impactful business. This final pillar is based on ensuring all stakeholders, including suppliers and customers, are having value created for them and are being treated correctly. Other elements of CSR, such as governance, sourcing, and innovative practices for current and future performance improvements, occur under impactful business. Both firms include letters of commitment, which state that both firms support and will continuously support the 10 principles of the United Nations Global Compact with regard to human rights, labour, environment, and anti-corruption. Both CEOs have signed these letters showing both firms' dedication to the CER initiative. Smurfit Kappa's expenses relating to raw materials and consumables have also been on a steady decrease in the last few years, showing tangible evidence that their efforts are being rewarded in one aspect of their annual report. The key difference in the level of reporting of CSR, which puts Smurfit Kappa ahead, is the sections in their annual report which give detail and analysis for the past, present and future regarding their CSR issues. Therefore, Troy could benefit greatly from publishing an annual sustainability report in place of their lack of a publicised annual report. We believe this will balance out the lack of available information regarding to CSR on Troy part, and this would bring increased detail and insight to the current CSR projects and practices of the firm, along with their plans for the future.
Additionally, the UN also laid down a set of 17 guidelines known as the Sustainable Development Goals for signatory adoption. For the purposes of this video, we'll be looking at the most relevant sections. They are SDG 12, which ensures sustainable consumption and production patterns, SDG 13, which relates to combating climate change and its impacts, and SDG 15, which is a pledge to protect, restore, and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems and sustainable managing forest, the certification. When we analyse Troy we can see that their commitment to sustainability and the reuse of products is something they have put into practice with the multiple uses policy that they have adopted and the sourcing of harvested materials and from sustainable forest, therefore hitting SDGs 12, 13, 15 and the Principle 7, 8 respectively. Moreover, transparent and change of custody policies reinforce to the stakeholders that they are operating in accordance with the code. When we compare Smurfit, we see a major difference in the adoption of these goals. Their website gleams with the targets they have reached over the numbers of years since signing their 2010 commitment letter. They have shown serious dedication to the UN Global Impact Code and have undertaken practices in their business that drive the SDGs mentioned above. Like Troy they advocate and use sustainable forest management through their chain of custody practice. Their raw material has an assurance of its sustainability, and they also meet the transparency and good business practices of the SDG policy and has independent third-party verification to ensure and promote sustainable forest management. The main driver of this is to combat deforestation, a direct action of Principle 8 and 9 in SDG 14 and 15. Further, they have certification from the FSC and the PEFC where applicable. On their website alone, we see 3 elements of this goal being implemented. Commitment 1, Commitment 2, and Commitment 3. In terms of Commitment 1, the progress they have made is that they continue to produce and purchase 99.8% of fibers from COC management systems. In terms of Commitment 2, they have reached 93.8% in 2020, and in terms of Commitment 3, every newly acquired site has to comply with the COC management system verification within 2 years from acquisition. They have also adopted a World Without Waste campaign as part of their ongoing commitment to SDG 15. They have a Better Plant Packaging initiative which focuses on reducing packaging litter and drives innovation of paper-based packaging. In terms of criticism, Smurfit could go further and consider partnering with smaller stakeholders like Troy and assist them with their SDG goals. As stated, Troy is not a publicly listed company and it does not have the same resources a giant like Smurfit has, nor does it have the same environmental impact. Companies like Smurfit could lead the way in creating new partnership with smaller similar businesses and create a more sustainable sector, not just a sustainable business.
So now we are here in the Mervyn's and Guggen's framework that talks about the social responsibility of businesses and to what extent which they can meet legal, ethical, and economic responsibilities. The 5 phases of corporate citizenship outlined by Mervyn's and Guggen's are elementary, engaged, inventive, integrated, and transformational, and they reflect diverse patterns of behavior at different points of growth. Definition, purpose, leadership support, structure, problem management, stakeholder relationship, and transparency are the 7 aspects used to evaluate the phases. Corporation progress through the phases based on 4 factors: their credibility and capacity to support citizenship activities, and coherence to all these activities and their willingness to embed the citizenship in corporate culture. Smurfit Kappa has sustainability in its DNA, is acute aware of its corporate citizenship duties, and is dedicated to contributing to the resolution of these crucial challenges. Aim for a long-term growth and benefits all stakeholders by concentrating on three pillars: the environment, the people, and meaningful business. Climate change, forest water, and waste are the primary strategy, environmental and corporate responsibility concern within these pillars, which affect the people and the communities. Involving stakeholders questionnaire approach that is quite proactive that being applied by this company. All fiber produced and acquired is FCS, PEFC or SFI certified. They are continued to manufacture and acquire 99.8% of their fibers using Fiber Origin Management System that will be certified by the COC in 2020. This is within their 1% point tolerance. By 2025, they are looking forward to reduce the organic content of water returned to the environment from their mill facilities by 60% compared by 2005 levels. They have come a long way since 2005 with a reduction of 38.2%. More than 90% of their packaging is labeled as FSC, PEFC or SFI COC certified. Progress were made by 2020 and they had achieved 93.8%. So for Troy Mill wood products, we see that they follow sustainable forest programs, that every piece of hardwood and softwood timber that they used to come from a sustainable forest. Manufacturer Wholesale Lumber, Troy Mill's sibling firm is a FCS Forest Steward Council certified and suitable for all FCS designated projects. A high level of transparency is essential.
As rightly mentioned by all my team members about the CSR activities and SDGs of both the companies, I would say that companies have taken some important decisions for their future development. Smurfit Kappa Group focused on employee retention as their primary goal during COVID-19 because they think that the employees working in the organization are the pillars of the company. They also introduced the Better Planet theme onto its existing set of sustainability goals. Smurfit is managing these issues internationally and also on the local level. So in 2020, the company made an investment in Austria and Colombia to reduce the waste to landfill volumes and CO2 emission. This shows the commitment to the CSR and how important it is for the company. On the next slide, we could see that in the chart, the company is targeting huge and it's achieving also huge. As we can see in the chart, Smurfit has set higher targets and they have actually performed well in achieving it. As we could see, the major success was in the forest area where it was targeting around more than 95% and the achievement is 93.8%. Also, we could see here in health and safety, they were targeting around 5%, but the achievement they got is 29%, which can be counted as a huge target. Also, they have a new partnership with the World Wildlife Fund Colombia, which will be focusing on climate change, biodiversity collapse, and CO2 emission as well. This would help in the Smurfit to actually work on their policies and check with the national level standard which they can achieve. In comparison with Smurfit, Troy Mill is a smaller company which have a lot of room to improve and implement SDGs and have better policies on CSR activities. During the crisis, new policies were adopted regarding the sustainable material harvested from sustainable forest. There is less information available on the company's plan of action in the coming future. So I would say that the Troy Mill may improve the raw material which they use is passed through a clear chain of custody. So a buyer know exactly where the order has come from and pass the good word on the customer. So currently company has no partnership with any organization and there is a lot of improvement that needs to be done by the company. Company could focus on improving the environmental and social responsibility by primarily focused on water and waste. This would help environment as well. A full cycle sustainable approach involves everything from developing a sustainable and responsible supply chains for renewable raw materials to developing and producing sustainable solutions that assist the customers in reaching their goals. Thank you.